Teacher, why do the opposite of ignorant wisdom is enlightened wisdom? Just like the wisdom of ignorance, to understand the wisdom of enlightenment, the Tuolins must go through all interactive scenarios in human life. That interactive process will help activate the essence of information within the original yin and yang energy embryo. The nature of the information of the original positive particle is positive information, true information that demonstrates the ability to promote solidarity, spread, and sustainable development for ourselves and all things. It is the solution to control and remove the toxins of negative particles. You tell us to be happy when immersed in ignorance.
Teacher, it is challenging for people to recognize and understand the wisdom of ignorance as well as the wisdom of enlightenment. People have no standards to judge which information is ignorant and which is enlightened. People always follow the crowd mentality, traditional views passed down from previous generations, and the ideologies within each religion they follow. I hope you will show everyone the standard between the wisdom of ignorance and the wisdom of enlightenment, which brings invaluable benefits to humans.
Hey, you. Your question is right. It is the question of many people. Different religions and philosophical views give their views and think they are the best for everyone to learn and practice. Besides, they try to refute other points of view. But the opinions they all give have no exact standards or references. That makes people confused with those views. However, knowledge of the two truths completely differs from other religious and philosophical views. The knowledge of the two truths and the knowledge of the smallest energy particle is the standard, the exact reference for each person, each Tuolin to understand the truth of themselves and other people, all things and phenomena in the universe, and destructive energy. That is why the two truths appeared in the human world in this second great unification of humanity, and that is also why I am present in the human world. When you and everyone else learn all the knowledge of the two truths and the knowledge of the smallest energy particle, everyone will fully understand, not simply the wisdom of ignorance or enlightenment.
Teacher, thank you. I will study to understand the knowledge you are teaching fully.
The class was interrupted by a student's question for a few minutes. Afterwards, the teacher sat beside the table and sipped tea. Perhaps the hot tea got cold because he focused on imparting knowledge about the wisdom of ignorance for most of the class time. To complete the lecture on enlightenment wisdom during the class, the teacher stood up and continued to lecture.
About the wisdom of ignorance you already understand. Now is the time to understand the other side of knowledge, the wisdom of enlightenment. What is enlightened wisdom? Intellectually, you already understand. So, what is enlightened wisdom? Is understanding the truth of information in all things, events, phenomena, intelligence, people, animals, and the most comprehensive destructive energy. Next is controlling, forcing out harmful information and activating positive information into positive actions. When we talk about enlightened wisdom, we have to talk about people, because Nalas Nalanda created humans and the human world to become a practice environment for the Tuolin life form. When Tuolins live in heaven, because of the peaceful, pure, and magical living environment, they cannot understand themselves and other Tuolins, all things in the universe, and the energy of destruction. In other words, they live in ignorance. Only the first Tuolin has the most transcendent wisdom in the universe, but he is not yet an enlightened being. He only indeed became fully enlightened when he went through many lifetimes of practice in human form in the human world. The human form is not only a miracle for him, but also for all Tuolin life forms. Therefore, the enlightened wisdom of the Tuolin must pass through the human form to become fully enlightened. Through the four forms in human life to create countless interaction scenarios, the Tuolins residing in human form will reveal all of their informational nature. These are information containing toxins, the wisdom of ignorance and knowledge genuine for sustainable development, the understanding of enlightenment. Through many generations of people, through countless lifetimes of practice in human form and precious interactions, the manifestations of the nature of truth information in Tuolin are fully revealed. Negative information has been revealed, and information for sustainable development has been activated. That is enlightened wisdom. When we connect the knowledge of enlightened wisdom to understanding the smallest energy particle, we will see that positive information creates a sustainable transformation mechanism for all toolins and all things in and outside the universe. On the contrary, ignorant wisdom establishes a mechanism of transformation, decay, and destruction. Enlightened wisdom has countless manifestations in all interactive scenarios of human life. Those manifestations include 10 groups: enlightened wisdom on possession and non-possession, love, hate, and resentment, success in wishing and failure in wishing, having wisdom and not having wisdom, action and inaction. 10 groups of manifestations are grouped into 5 pairs of categories of expressions of enlightened wisdom. These are the manifestations of kindness in each soul, the toolin within the human being, which is released to the outside to create a sustainable transformation mechanism for that toolin itself, other toolins, and all things inside and outside the universe. Discussing 10 manifestations of enlightened wisdom. The enlightened wisdom about possession. That is a group of expressions of enlightenment when people understand the truth of information of 3 things: understanding oneself and others, understanding that humans are formed from 3 elements: body, soul, intellect, the soul inside the body, the root, the origin of man, the mission of life, the cause and nature of the Tualine incarnation of the human form. Understand all things, events, and phenomena in life and the universe. Understand the energy of destruction. When people understand the nature of harmful information and positive information within each subject and everyone's environment, they will practice it in human life. It is the practice of controlling, forcing out all ignorance in the soul, and constantly learning and activating all compassion. Through the manifestations of action in the interactions of the 4 life forms, each person will see images of their own and others' enlightenment. When people have understood everything, they know that the human body and the things they own are just tools for them to practice eliminating toxins and activating the compassion in their souls. Therefore, instead of indulging in the things they own for enjoyment and debauchery, they use them to activate the goodness within them. That is, they help and save people and animals, and they build sustainable development for all things with everything they have without the benefit of their bodies. Some rich people use their money to build schools, bridges, roads, and hospitals for poor neighborhoods. There are people with positions where they do not embezzle or corrupt. Instead, they work diligently and promulgate policies that benefit the people and the country. Some people in good health participate in activities to support and help others. Some people have beauty and fame and live according to humanistic moral values, taking advantage of their popularity to call for help from everyone, the poor and the sick. Some leaders of rich countries use their power to help poor countries and countries with natural disasters or disasters and many other cases. When this group of enlightened wisdom is activated, all other groups of enlightened wisdom are easily triggered. The enlightened wisdom about non-possession. That is the group of manifestations of enlightenment when people understand the truth of the 3 things, like the group of enlightened wisdom on possession. When people understand it all, they know that living in the human body and the human world is to have countless interaction scenarios. Then, they must identify the poison and goodness within themselves. Finally, they learn how to control and eliminate toxins and activate all the goodness in their soul. Therefore, when they do not possess the forms or things that others have, they understand that these are situations to help them understand the truth of information in their souls. At that time, they will not be bound by craving for things they do not have. Instead, they cultivate knowledge with education and life experience, building their lives and careers with diligence and kindness. They constantly strive to develop their lives and help others, animals, and all things towards sustainable development. We can see some people are not rich. They see others who are rich by doing illegal things and decide not to follow them. Instead, they work honestly and are willing to help others with their kind intelligence. Some people do not have high positions. They do not use money to get promoted. Instead, They are dedicated to doing their job well and constantly studying to improve their intelligence and the qualities of officials to help people. Some people have beauty but little money. They do not lose their dignity because of wealth. They live and propagate moral qualities to everyone. Some leaders of countries do not have natural resources. They do not wage wars and invade other countries for appropriate resources. Instead, they develop their different strengths to solve the problem of resource shortage. By activating this group of enlightened intelligence, people will easily activate other groups of enlightened intelligence. The enlightened wisdom about love. When this group of enlightened wisdom is manifested, it results from people understanding three things that every person living in the human world must know on their practicing journey. From that understanding, each person understands that all interaction scenarios in life are for the information values in their soul to be fully revealed, including harmful information and information that is sustainable development. At that time, they must control and suppress dangerous information, learn how, and practice activating the enlightened intellect within them. Therefore, the group that exhibits enlightened wisdom about love always give genuine love to their loved ones. Besides, they dedicate their time, intelligence, and possessions to help or save other people, animals, and everything. It balances true love and sustainable development for themselves and others. We can see some spouses who are faithful, taking good care of their families, and still participating in activities to help others in need. There are couples of men and women who love each other. They help each other understand and balance love and practice enlightened wisdom towards those in difficulty or suffering. Some people understand the truth and build true love for a happy family. Some people understand enlightened wisdom. They do not control the person they love. Some parents understand, so they do not force their children to study under pressure. Instead, they help their children understand the truth to grow up in joy and worldview discovery. Some leaders love their people and humans. They help their country thrive so that other countries do not invade them and do not invade other countries. Different groups of enlightened wisdom are also activated from the manifestations of enlightened wisdom of this group. The enlightened wisdom about hatred and resentment. Because people understand the truth information of the three things, they quickly activate the enlightened wisdom on hatred and resentment. They know that all interaction scenarios, including their hatred towards someone and from that someone towards them, are all for them to understand their toxicity, kindness, and others. They then control and force out the toxins within themselves by eliminating their hatred and resentment. Next, activate their compassion towards all people, animals, and everything. We can see some couples resent each other, but after understanding, they heal, build love, and help others. There are people who, when they understand, let go of their hatred to help each other have a better life. There are people with racist ideologies and behaviors, and when understood, they become people who oppose that prejudice and build solidarity between people. Some people fear and hate venomous animals, but because of their understanding, they do not kill them and even help them stay safe when they are in danger. The enlightened wisdom about having wisdom. This group of enlightened wisdom is difficult to understand and control toxins and activate goodness. However, once one understands the three things that each person must understand, it is not difficult to trigger enlightenment in each person. At that time, people who thought they were more intellectual than people in the human world because of their academic degrees, high social status, and wealth found that their intelligence was bound and misunderstood. Next, they destroy their arrogant nature, open their minds to learn enlightened wisdom, and activate their compassion. They are willing to help, share their enlightened wisdom with others, and share life experiences and practical knowledge to help others understand and improve their lives. We can see people with high status, wealth, and degrees. When enlightened, they are not arrogant. Instead, they always help and share their practical knowledge and enlightenment with others. When enlightened, religious people help people solve life's difficulties with enlightened understanding, not worship or deceive them. People with political status develop policies that help people and countries live in peace and prosperity. Those with enlightened wisdom enthusiastically share it with those still ignorant and suffering. The enlightened wisdom about non-possession of intellect. When people understand that the environment in the human world creates all interaction scenarios, including the scenario in which they were born and raised with a lack of knowledge, they will activate enlightened wisdom. Because of understanding the three things, everyone understands that no matter their situation, they must learn to understand themselves and all things, events and phenomena in and outside the universe. Therefore, they do not feel apprehensive because of their low education level, because they were born in a typical class or are poor. Instead, they constantly strive to study and diligently practice eliminating toxins and activating kindness in their soul. That diligence and perseverance help them become enlightened people, succeed in life, and continue to share valuable knowledge with others. The enlightened wisdom about success and failure in wishing. When people understand the three things that every Tulin and human is searching for, they become peaceful and no longer suffer. Even though they do not possess the forms others have, they know how to let go of their desires when they cannot achieve them. They know how to let go of desires contrary to moral values and kindness. They understand interaction scenarios. What they need is for them to realize their nature. Therefore, when they know, they practice controlling and forcing out the toxins and activating the compassion within them. They become people who study and work honestly according to their abilities. Because they have become enlightened about this group, they become someone who shares the truth with others and helps them become enlightened. We can see when people understand. They do not ask God, Buddha, or the gods of their country to grant what they desire. Instead, they diligently do good deeds and do not do evil. Even though many couples do not have children, they love each other and live together forever when they understand. Those who seek the path of enlightenment, when they know it, practice the knowledge of enlightenment in life. They do not seek supernatural powers or miracles from the invisible world. Poor people, when they understand, they work honestly with effort, study, and diligence. People of low status in politics, when they know they work enthusiastically and constantly study to develop their careers, do not use money to advance. The enlightened wisdom about action. This group of enlightened wisdom results from understanding all the accurate information of the three things. It is also the result of the enlightened wisdom entering the other groups of enlightened wisdom. At that time, each person will practice actions that force out the toxins within them, helping everyone, all things and animals. They always know how to practice activating goodness within themselves to help themselves and other entities develop more sustainably. They always use each scenario they interact with to practice enlightened wisdom. It is helping others understand as they understand and helping each other practice bringing good values to people, animals, and all things. The enlightened wisdom about inaction. As a result of understanding the three things and gaining enlightened intellect in the groups of enlightened knowledge such as possession, non-possession, love, resentment, and hatred, success and failure in wishing, having wisdom and without wisdom, everyone will gain enlightenment about inaction. That is not taking action that causes harm to yourself, to others, to animals, and all things. That is the practice of forcing out toxins in the human soul. Hey friends, the truth about the nature of information in intelligence and humans, the manifestations of the wisdom of ignorance and enlightenment, is not something I deduced and seduced you and everyone else to practice. All that knowledge is the nature of information, the operating mechanism of the smallest energy particle. The Tulin in me has gone through many lifetimes of practice in the human world, observing the movements of all things, Tulins and people, thereby exposing the truth of everything. As I said, the wisdom of ignorance creates the mechanism of transformation, decay, and destruction, and the understanding of enlightenment establishes the mechanism of sustainable change. That is the knowledge of the smallest energy particles that make up Tulins, people, and all things in and outside the universe. Therefore, It is the standard, the most reliable and accurate reference for all Tuolins and humans to learn and practice. The manifestations of the ignorant wisdom and enlightened wisdom of humans and Tuolins are based on the results of understanding the knowledge of the truth of the universe and the truth of enlightenment. These two truths help humans and Tuolins understand the truth of the three things through the smallest energy particle. That factual information is comprehensive and complete for everyone to study, comprehend, and practice to eliminate toxins and activate goodness within themselves. That is the most miraculous knowledge, the most wonderful path to help each Tuoling and human transform their yin and yang embryo into a perfect energy filter.
His class ended long ago, but he still sat and rested in class with the people who always accompanied him. After a day of continuously lecturing for many hours, plus drinking a lot of tea, his body was probably tired. The body feels tired because the teacher always stands to see all the students when teaching. It can be seen that the body is a great tool that Nalas Nalanda possesses. Also, a demonstration of enlightenment in possession, he used his body as a tool to share the knowledge of complete enlightenment with everyone and humanity. After many hours of rest, it was almost midnight outside, and he began to return home, where his family and children were.